How pirates sold their stolen goods. Dark ocean swells, thunder rolling far away. They say pirates lived for gold, for glittering coins, for jewel-studded crowns, for treasure overflowing in wooden chests. But the truth is far stranger. Because treasure alone doesn't keep a man alive at sea. Treasure doesn't buy fresh bread or barrels of clean water, or the silence of a governor who looks the other way. So here's the question most men never dared ask aloud. What did pirates actually do with their stolen goods? Did they spend it wildly in taverns until their purses were empty, or did something darker happen, just beyond the reach of the law? A lantern flame flickers. Would imagine this. The year is 1718. A storm breaks and a sloop drifts silently into a hidden cove. Onboard not just gold, but bolts of silk, barrels of sugar, tobacco, and iron tools, plundered from a merchant vessel that will never reach its port. But pirates can't simply march into town and sell it at the market. No. Every coin, every scrap, carried the mark of blood. So who bought it? Who had the courage to deal with outlaws, knowing the king's noose could swing for them too? Some say it was always the shadow markets, lonely taverns at the edge of port towns, where whispers carried more value than coin. Others swore it was the very governors and merchants themselves, men in powdered wigs, secretly taking their share, feeding on pirate blood money while cursing them in public. And in these dark exchanges, lives could be bought and sold with a handshake. A single stolen chest of sugar, worth more than gold in England, might vanish into the warehouses of Jamaica before sunrise, and the pirates, they'd melt into the crowd, invisible, drunk, or dead by dawn. But here's the mystery that keeps historians awake even today. Was piracy really about freedom? Or was it just another arm of trade, hidden in plain sight? The waves crash suddenly, heartbeat fades and slow. Every stolen piece had a buyer, and every buyer had something to lose. One wrong deal, one informant, and the hangman's rope would tighten. Yet men still risked it. They still opened their doors to pirates, still raised their cups in secret toasts, still lined their pockets with cursed gold. Why? Because profit and fear are stronger than loyalty. But we're only at the surface, my friend. Stay with me, because the deeper we dive, the darker it gets. And what you'll hear next will make you question whether pirates truly lived outside society, or if society itself needed them more than it ever dared admit. Low drumbeat. Fading into silence, here wind howls through torn sails, faint bells of a distant harbor. When most people imagine pirates, they see overflowing treasure chests, rubies, diamonds, Spanish coins glittering under torchlight. But the real treasure was rarely gold. No, the wealth of the seas came in strange forms: sugar, molasses, tobacco, cotton, iron, rum. Things men back in Europe would kill for, starve for, trade their very souls for. And pirates, ruthless as they were, understood something. A chest of Spanish gold was priceless, yes, but a single barrel of sugar, that was steady power, because sugar wasn't just sweetness. It was currency. It fed empires, it fattened nobles, it was craved by every table from London to Paris. And barrels, hundreds of barrels, could vanish into ports without a trace. A lantern swings, footsteps echo on wet wood. But here lies the shadow no one speaks of. Pirates could not exist without allies. They needed men on land, men who pretended to despise them in daylight, but welcomed them in the dark. Merchants who quietly swapped stolen goods for clean coin. Governors who took bribes, their hands trembling as they signed legal papers over illegal shipments. Priests, even, some whispered, who blessed their souls in for offerings brought from bloodied waters. So ask yourself, were pirates truly the villains, or just puppets in a grander game of corruption? Every stolen chest, every bundle of cloth had to vanish, and it did. Ships came in heavy with plunder, and by morning it was gone, swallowed by the market like a stone tossed into the sea. No trace, no evidence, only whispers, silence. A slow heartbeat begins, yet whispers travel. Somewhere, someone always talks. A tavern wench overhearing a deal. A sailor bragging too loudly about his fortune. And when whispers reached the wrong ears, gallows were built. Men who thought themselves untouchable found ropes tightening around their necks, their eyes scanning the crowd for the very same merchants who once welcomed them. But those merchants, they were safe, protected, shielded by power, by politics, by money. It was always the pirates who swung, while the men in powdered wigs drank wine by candlelight, profiting from stolen sugar they swore they never touched. Thunder cracks, still one question gnaws like a rat in the dark. Why did these powerful men risk everything to deal with pirates? The answer is simple. Greed. And greed, my friend, is the most loyal crew a man can ever keep. But it wasn't just greed, it was survival. Colonies needed cheap goods to thrive. Merchants needed to outbid rivals. Governors needed coin to keep their soldiers fed. Pirates, for all their blood-soaked sails, were a necessary evil. Without them, markets slowed, fortunes shrank. Wars could not be fought, so the deals continued, in shadows, in whispers, in back rooms so dim even lanterns seemed afraid to burn. And every handshake sealed with rum was a gamble with death. A slow, chilling violin note, but let me leave you with this thought. Did the pirates ever truly escape with their profits? Some drank it all away in a single night, their laughter drowned in tavern floors sticky with spilled ale. Some buried it on forgotten islands, leaving treasure maps that may have been lies all along. And some, the most cunning of them all, used it to buy influence, power, even a seat among the very men who once hunted them. Because sometimes the greatest disguise a pirate could ever wear was that of a gentleman. The waves crashing hard pause. And if you're still sailing with us through this dark tale, raise your flag, and hit that subscribe button. Join the crew of Dead Men Tales where legends never truly die. The music softens, a whisper of the sea returns. But our voyage isn't over yet. The deeper truth of how betrayal, greed, and obsession doomed even the most successful pirate is still waiting just beyond the horizon. And if you think pirates only feared the gallows, you haven't yet heard of how betrayal from within their own crew was the deadliest trait of all. Her heartbeat stops. Silence, that soft creak of wood, then a crow's caw cuts through silence. They say every fortune carries a curse, and for pirates, the curse was not just the gallows or the hangman's rope, it was betrayal. No empire fell quicker than a pirate brotherhood torn from within. Men who once swore loyalty over blood and rum, men who called each other family, would sell one another for a single promise of gold or a pardon. A lantern flickers. A knife scrapes quietly across wood. Picture it, a ship heavy with stolen goods, the crew drunk on their fortune. But among them one pair of eyes never closes. A whisper passes. A deal is struck in the shadows. And by dawn soldiers are waiting at the dock. The same men who celebrated together only hours before are dragged in chains across cobblestones, their boots echoing like funeral drums. And the traitor, he pockets his reward only to be betrayed in turn, weeks later. Because in the pirate world, treachery breeds treachery. Low, pounding heartbeat. Keen still, perhaps the cruelest truth is this: most pirates never lived long enough to spend their treasure. They chased it, they bled for it, they killed for it, but it slipped through their fingers like sand, wasted in taverns, stolen by allies, or confiscated by kings. The dream of endless wealth, it was a myth. A myth that lured thousands to the sea, only to leave their bones whitening on distant shores. And yet the legend survives. Why? Because humans hunger for the impossible. We want to believe in chests of eternal gold, buried maps, keys to secret kingdoms. We want to believe that some men cheated death and walked away with their pockets heavy, their hearts unbroken. A music swells, mournful, almost holy. But listen closely, the ocean does not give without taking. Every treasure pulled from her depths was bought with screams, blood, and silence. Every golden coin was washed in salt water and sin. So when you ask, did pirates truly get rich from treasure? The answer is more haunting than myth. Some did briefly, but most drowned chasing it, and the only riches they left behind were stories. Stories that refused to die, stories like this one. Her storm fades into calm waves, gulls cry faintly, and so, the next time you hear of buried treasure, ask yourself, is it really gold waiting in the ground, or just the bones of men who believed too much? A soft silence, then a whisper, because in the end, the greatest treasure the sea ever gave us is the memory of those who dared to chase it. The waves crash, music fades into nothing, but this has been Dead Men Tales, where legends never truly die.